up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Healing Conversations with Nicole, where women grow, grieve, heal, and evolve together. On today's episode, we will be discussing the dark side of entrepreneurship, and I have the opportunity to have my assistant of almost 7 years here with me. She has walked on the back end, the front end, and sidelines with me on this journey, so she can attest and give advice and insight on this journey as well. But before we get into the episode, let's take care of our church announcements. Okay. This episode is sponsored by Wilson's Marketing Firm and The Wig Cave. We will learn more about these companies later in the episode. In case you are new here, I am a child of God, wife, mother for part-time hairstyles. I keep saying I'm going to quit one day I will. I'm a custom wig maker, marketing strategist, coach, motivational speaker, certified life coach, and barber stylist instructor. As a woman who wears many hats but still on a mission for God, I was led to create a safe place for women to evolve and grow together. And here we are. I'm super excited about this conversation today because everybody's so hyped about entrepreneurship. Everybody want to be an entrepreneur. Everybody want to be their own boss. And I believe that social media plays a major role in this. So I wanted to shed light on the dark side that people don't talk about. It's often talked about the wins and make this amount of money and that amount of money and the luxury lifestyle and make your own schedule. That's beautiful, but that's not the real. And I want to talk about it today, Ted. Before we get into it, I want them to know who you are as well.
I am Tatiana Gaither, and I like to keep it simple. I am just a child of God. I'm somebody that serves God, and I just look fly while doing so. But I'm
That's you.
also in this entrepreneur world as well. I am 7 years deep with the beautiful Kamaron Nicole, and I do have a new nonprofit that is launching very soon.
Super
So I
excited.
am on this route of being in the forefront of the my own entrepreneur business very soon. So you can stay tuned for that. But yeah, like I said, I'm not big on titles because I like all glory to point back to God. So if you don't know nothing else, like I always say, I'm just a girl that loves God and looks fly doing so.
Oh, I love it. And you definitely do that.
Appreciate it.
I'm excited about your new journey.
I'm excited too. I'm excited because it's so new, and I'm excited with the what it's bringing. It's just a new version of me, and I know it's a better version of me,
Mm-hmm.
so that makes me excited. But then there's all those other emotions that comes with it too: fear,
Mm-hmm.
uh, overwhelming, sleepless nights. But that's the world of being an entrepreneur, right?
That's the
The
word.
beauty of it doesn't come in the beginning.
Mm-mm.
Let's just keep it real. And some
Mm-hmm.
of the things you already mentioned, with the people glamming up on social media, but let's talk about the real, the beginning of it. And I mean, even probably what, the first 5, 10 years, you got to do that dirt and that grind work. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to talk about it.
I'm excited. I'm excited. You said something that stuck out to me, but before I get into what stuck out to me, I do want to sit this with you on your journey. One thing that has kept me grounded through the ups and downs on my journey is Jeremiah 29:11, when the Lord reassures us that he has plans
Hmm.
to prosper us and not harm us. So when it get a little rocky, and the winds start waving your boat back and forth, just remember that no matter what it look like right now, God has already promised you to prosper you.
Thank you. That's one of my favorites. I've been getting a lot of favorites now, but that's always been one of my favorites that stuck because I got to. He has the plans because it ain't me. If it be me, I'd be working at 9 to 5. But hey, God has better plans, and I love that.
I'm super excited. So let's get into our conversation. You said something. You said it in the beginning because you're in the beginning phase of your entrepreneur journey on your own.
Hmm.
You mentioned sleepless nights. Child, on social media, they make it seem like you at the beach every weekend with your feet in the air.
Not yet. I hope to be able to stick my feet in the sand soon. But not right now. I'm doing that grind work, those sleepless nights, and it's sleepless nights for not just one reason, not just because there is a lot of work to be done, because that is very true, but also because I'm doing work for the Lord. I'm doing commission work, which is just a little bit different for myself, because God be like, "Oh, I need you to do this too." And he just happened to tell me to do it at 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's just a little bit different. So there's sleepless nights, not just because there is a lot of work, which there is, but also because I'm doing the Lord's work, and God don't sleep.
He don't.
So apparently I can't either. So
I
that's
love
where that
it.
comes from.
And a lot of sleepless nights come with it. The beautiful thing right now in her journey, in the beginning phase, a sleepless night is coming from visions and what God is giving you to take steps to move forward. But when you get some skin in the game, a lot of sleepless nights is going to come from, did I make this move correctly? What can I do different? That could have came out better. I could have done that different. How am I going to have this done? And a lot of people, they don't speak on it because, again, social media has glamorized everything to make it seem like it's easy and it just happened overnight. But there's a process that we have to go through in order to get through to those wins. So those sleepless nights can also come from being unsure how you're going to cover A, B, C, and D. A lot of sleepless nights can come from being unsure who you're going to help to assist you to your next or with the load that you have. And growing through that process, I've seen a lot of people fold. They fold in the process of the hard, the rough. Another thing that people don't talk about, and I'm just going to use the beauty industry because that's my main,
Your niche.
yeah, my niche. So coming up in the beauty industry, you know, God gave me a vision to be a hairstylist. I went to school for something else. But people don't talk about when you are super talented and favored and you have a certain favor of your life and God deal your cards differently than others, and your path may look like a smooth sail up while others trying to push forward. People don't talk about the hate, the jealousy, the gossip, the lies, the betrayal.
Which makes you question everything, right?
It'll make you question, God, what's this?
And when you know it, but it still makes you question it.
Still make you
We're
question.
human, right? Yeah, for sure.
Because we are human. And a lot of people don't talk about that. That's heavy in itself, because all you're doing is doing what you dream of, what God has showed you. And here, it seemed like all odds are against you.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
And that's what I don't see talked about on social media. Everybody make it seem like, yeah, we are human, so we are affected by the sidelines. We are affected by the outside noise and chaos. And when you're on this entrepreneurship journey, this is a spiritual journey. And people don't talk about that either. Entrepreneurship is spiritual. Because guess what? You can't get paid if you're not putting in the work.
Absolutely.
So in order for your journey to prosper, you got to be grounded. You got to be grounded in your faith. You got to know who you are. You got to be sure in yourself. And when you're not sure, this extra chaos that we're talking about on the outside easily knock you off your path. So one thing that I want to say to those that are looking to get into entrepreneurship, or that is even an entrepreneur and struggling on your journey, do the groundwork and become secure in who God created you to be. Know that you were fearfully and wonderfully made. Know that God created you with extraordinary in mind. He didn't create you with basic nowhere in his plans. Stay grounded in it, because when that extra chaos comes, that hate, that betrayal, that gossip, and all the things that make you question your worth, you will know where to go to be reminded of why you're here
Mm-hmm.
and what you're doing. Are you kind of, I know you're a person that's never really cared what nobody had to say or thought of you, but on your new journey, like, is that something that has crossed your mind?
Well, I'll just correct you. I've not always been like that. Now, like when I was younger, probably like high school. After high school, I did get like who I am. But yeah, in high school, I did have those, caring about what people thought about me. That I don't know. I think that just must come with just growing up. But now who I am, no, I don't care. I know whose I am and who I am. So
Mm,
that's why I really, you call me nonchalant, but I,
all the time.
I don't care. And it's not, it's because what are they going to do for me? And it's usually the people that are talking haven't done nearly anything I've done. So whether that's humble or not, that's one of the reasons why that it doesn't bother me what they say. So if you know who you are and whose you are, that just really doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the unknown because I'm just in a whole new world, whole new territory, and the dynamic is new. But I am so thankful that I have the relationship that you and I have, and I've got to watch entrepreneurship firsthand for 7 years. But it is a little different being in the driver's seat. But
Mm-hmm.
I have so many tools and things that have led me up to this point, so I feel more prepared. But
That's a
let's talk
blessing.
about the process. Like we've mentioned it, but what is the process? Obviously, it looks different for everybody, right? But let's talk about our process. At what point did you even know you needed an assistant?
When things became overwhelming,
Well, that'd be
and
overwhelming in the beginning. What if you can't afford nobody?
that's where balancing your time come into play.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, things just really became extra chaotic. Like, it wasn't a one man's job anymore. When I got to the level of servicing, let me back. When I got to a level of wanting to venture out and explore the entrepreneur journey beyond the chair. The chair was already heavy for me. I already was chaotic with clients and classes and all those other things that come with it. I knew that I couldn't step out and do more with what I was already carrying. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. So, you would say to somebody who's starting out on this journey, when it becomes too much for one person, that's when you would seek assistance,
Hmm.
right?
And a lot of people may not be able to pay an assistant, or have one. That's where you find family members, your children, your friends that can barter service with you. Maybe if you do hair, do makeup, maybe you can offer to, be able to give them a service in exchange for their assistance with helping you. You have to get creative with how you can find people to help you, because that is important on the journey. Entrepreneurship is not a one man band.
Mm-hmm. One
It's
band,
not a
one
soloist.
sound.
One band, one
But
sound,
yeah,
but
it's not a job.
it's
That
not
just
a one man job.
correct.
That's it. It's not a one man job, not at all. So whether you use AI,
Mm-hmm.
whether you use Google, whether you use the automations, whatever, you need to have people and things in place to assist you with your journey.
And I want to touch on that because what I've been constantly learning in this season over and over and over is you don't have to do it alone. That's what
Mm-mm.
God keeps saying to me. And if
Mm.
we are most, I would say most people that do entrepreneur, you have some type of strength that I can do it by myself. And me, I've always had the mentality, or if you want something done right, you do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But God has kept showing to me you don't have to do it alone. So utilize your resources, whatever that may look like for you, but you don't have to do it alone, and save yourself the headache too. And I will also say that if you can't delegate, that's kind of a weakness, because you should know how to delegate and save yourself the headache. So
That's important.
delegation.
Delegating, knowing what you can and
I
what you
can't do.
can't do, knowing your weakness and your
Mm-hmm.
strength. And me personally, I'm not, um, I'm better now, but I've not always been good with my words.
We both have learned for sure.
For sure, but but you've always been better. And I have not always been good with being disciplined. So knowing that, I'm also, it's not much that I'm not good at. If I'm honest,
You to go.
Well, thank you. But it's not much that like I'm not good at that I would say I need to hire weakness.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was important to hire someone that had the same tenacity as me, the same grind as me, because I almost honestly I needed a duplicate.
Mm-hmm. Me.
Me. Yeah, I needed you. I needed Tatiana. I cannot describe like exactly what you do for me, but I know that like you take a load off me, like you are my second brain because you know me now.
Mm-hmm.
So things be done without me even having to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember you was like, for the podcast, I have your, what you say you had created?
For the day I had an itinerary created for us. I
Yeah.
had your cards, your questions for the day.
You like, she helped me stay, you helped me stay balanced. So just
Mm-hmm.
knowing what you need, and I needed someone to help me become disciplined. I needed someone to help me stay organized, help me take my thoughts and map through them and figure out where they go. And you've been that for me. And a lot of people don't think they need a coach. A lot of people think you can just go to YouTube, Google, and that's just gonna be the magic. But in the
Mm-hmm.
reality, you need a mentor of some form. You may have to pay for one, or you may have someone in your space that you can utilize for free. But you need a mentor. You need someone that has walked down the path that you're trying to go. You need someone that can tell you about the experiences that they've had so that you can learn and not make the same mistakes. And for me, it's always been important that the people that's coming up behind me, that they don't go through the same struggles and cycles that I went through as an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur.
Learn from those mistakes for sure.
Yes. So that's very important, and I see where a lot of people don't think they need anyone. They don't think they think they have it all together. But having the right coach, the right mentor will help you be able to pivot when God say pivot.
Today's episode of Healing Conversations is brought to you by The Wig Cave, home of the glueless wigs, offering ready-to-wear wigs, custom wigs, and wig maintenance, and by Wilson's Marketing Firm. We are a marketing agency dedicated to helping brands grow, connect, and thrive in an ever-evolving digital landscape. We specialize in strategic marketing solutions that combine creativity with data-driven insights to deliver measurable results. Whether you're a startup looking to build a bold brand presence or an established company seeking to refresh your strategy, our team of marketing experts, designers, and digital specialists works collaboratively to craft tailored campaigns that engage your audience and elevate your business.
Speaking of pivot, that takes me into my next thing that people don't talk
Mm-hmm.
about. You know how back in the day, your mama and them, they just want you to work, and you're influenced and encouraged to go to a job that you can build a 401k in, a retirement plan, and you stay there until you can retire. Entrepreneurship don't work like that.
Will you remember that question if I want to piggyback off of what you were talking about as far as people needing coaches?
Yep.
I don't know if people know both of us are certified life coaches.
I was trying to tell you to tell them that earlier.
But we are both certified life coaches, and we both have coaches and mentors in our lives. Like, just because we're that, we still have that in our lives. Like, I'm going to tell you, I got a couple mentors that actually, I'm talking about like people I have to pay for. Like, I got some great people in my life who I get some free advice from. But we have therapists. They ain't free. But I have a mentor. I have a business mentor. I have a life mentor, and then we also have each other. But we are both certified life coaches. So I did fail to mention that in the beginning. Again, just because I'm not big on titles, but I do hold a certification in a life coach as well as Kamaron does. But y'all, you need a life coach. You need a mentor. Even if you work a 9 to 5, you can get a mentor. I'm pretty sure most jobs offer some form of mentorship. That's if you desire to be greater. Now, if you good with being complacent, cool beans, do you. But if you desire to grow in any realm, in any field, there's mentorship available. So I think you guys should take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
I did want to piggyback on that. But now we can talk about
absolutely.
the corporate world and the 401k and all those things. Yes, ma'am.
The pivot. So in the corporate world, you can apply to go to a new position, a higher position. But in entrepreneurship, it don't work like that. You go to the next level when God tell you to. And a lot of people don't understand or recognize when they need to pivot in their business. And when they miss that mark, that pivotal mark, they become drained. They feel like they are overlooked. They feel stagnant. They don't see any growth.
They don't know what to do with those
They
signs.
don't know
the signs are there. They don't know what to do with, but we can look on the outside and see, okay, yeah, they should have did this.
But they don't know that, and that's important, and that's something that's not, I don't see talked about either. You have to understand, in entrepreneurship, nothing can stay the same. Nothing can stay the same. Not how you move, not how you market, not how your business is structured. Of course, you're going to have a foundation that's never shifted, like your bank account, your business structure, like on the government side and stuff like that. But when it comes to the actual business flowing and functioning,
and that's crazy. Literally, me and my husband the other day, we were talking about, he was like, oh, I never would have thought Bojangles would have had all this on their menu. They doing fried pickles now, bowberry cookies. I don't eat there, so don't get me for getting it wrong. The bowberry cookies and blueberry coffee and all this stuff. You know, we know Bojangles for their biscuits. And maybe they chicken. I don't eat their chicken, but I think that's what they're known for, right? But they can try all these different things because they have to. They have to keep. But they don't have to keep up with the times, but they do.
they have to.
They do and they don't.
If they don't
in
want
a
to go out of
sense, because
business.
yes, their chicken and their biscuits, their bread and butter is literally always going to sell, right? But they got to keep up with Biscuitville that just got beside them or whatever else, wherever they are. They do. Their marketing team, they want to keep their job, so they better be coming up with some new and fresh ideas. So that's what I was trying to explain to him, because he was like, why they trying out this new stuff? They don't have to. But yeah, they do, in a sense. Their bread and butter, yes, it's always going to work for them. We know their biscuits and their chicken going to hit. They got a recipe that works for them that's golden. But yes, they have to try new things to keep people engaged, for sure, and returning.
And not being able to recognize that and keep people you go out of business. Or but for me, I'll use me for an example. I've always been able to pivot. Always been able to pivot with the new trends. Not every trend isn't for every business, but you need to know what's trending. You need to know what's going on. And another thing that comes with pivoting, that saying, oh, I ain't got no competition. Granted, in your own lane, there is no one else in your lane. God, like what God called you to do is what God called you to do.
For sure.
But there are so many other companies that is like your company. You do have competition. You do need to know what's going on. You do need to see how your competitors are marketing.
Absolutely.
You do need to know what services they're offering. You do need to know what price point these services are going at in order to make your business successful. In order for your business to skyrocket and elevate, you need to know what's going on. And a lot of people get so caught up in their head, oh, I'm not no, you're not in competition with no one, but you are a business. You are a company. You have
Oh yeah.
competitors.
How many breads on the shelf?
Okay, then.
They say, oh well, they make an 8 count. I'm about to make a 16 count. I
Okay,
bet you that
then.
8 count now makes a 16 count.
Okay, then.
Absolutely.
You have to stay ahead
Absolutely.
of the game, ahead of the trends,
Absolutely.
or you're going to get lost in the sauce. You'll find yourself 10 years from now making the same amount of money that you were making. It'll be 2035. You still making the same amount of money you're making in 2025. And now what you're going to find is that your business can no longer fund your life because you are
Won't be able to
behind.
sustain. Yeah, absolutely.
That is, oh God, that really blessed me. Because speaking back on back on the competition thing, I see a lot of people always talking about, oh, people copying me, people this and people that. Man, that's a part of the game. If I told you how many people copied me down, like when God has called you to be a leader, and if you're an entrepreneur, you are called to be a leader. And if you are a leader, that means you have what? Followers?
Absolutely.
Okay, then. So that mindset actually tanks your business.
Crab in the bucket.
It's a crab in the bucket mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of crab in the bucket, what's something you've seen that we've had to overcome that has came of us and it's kind of been like, that was so small, so beneath us?
I mean, it would probably be some of the clients. Sometimes the client's mindset, it'll have you thinking like that's what you need to do, but you need to stick to what you know. Like we of course value their opinion, but when you've been given an assignment, stick to your assignment. And sometimes the client's feedback, the negative feedback, it just kind of weighs in, and it goes back to that: am I doing this right? Just kind of, I don't want to say ignoring them because that's not what we do, because we do value and take in what they're saying, but there's so much of it coming in because you deal with a lot of clientele, so you get a lot of feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. But sometimes that negative feedback, I feel like we've kind of like, such and such told us this, but that's kind of small now. Like, yeah, we heard them and they said we wouldn't be here, and we thought for a minute, done, were they right? But nah, they weren't right. So just hearing what they say, but not allowing it to affect the direction that we're supposed to be going and change up what we're actually doing.
And you saying that brings something to my mind. That's why knowing your target audience is important.
And not having to service everybody, because we've had people that wanted to come and blow the salon up because they wig didn't get delivered on this, and that just y'all don't need to be in business. Like, because I mean, things happen, but just that there's a lot of the
being able to take the negative with the positive. And knowing your target audience. If you're not clear on who you're serving, you will find yourself being pulled in different directions because you're going to be trying to please this person, that person, that person, that person, this person.
When you don't know the vision, any vision will do.
So social media tells you that you hop on this trend and you're going to blow up. But that trend may not align with the type of clients that you desire or customers that you desire. And you'll find yourself being pulled in this direction, that direction, that direction. And when the negativity comes, If you're not grounded on who you're serving and who your audience is, you'll find yourself pulled in this direction, that direction. And I believe just having clarity as business have grew and we've evolved and understand the marketing strategies and foundation now, that has played a major role in allowing stuff to just roll off of our sleeves and being able to pivot however we need to pivot. So for instance, if I know, for instance, like our wigs are price pointed at like starting at $400.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone who buys wigs from me all the time that spends $1,200 or $500 with no problems, and they give advice that we should do A, B, C, and D, we're going to be a little more receptive to what they're saying because that's our audience. Versus someone who shops on Amazon. Now, no shade, nobody get wigs from Amazon because ain't nothing wrong with that. But someone who shops on Amazon for wigs, we're not going to be so receptive to their feedback to us because they're really not our audience. So that's something that I really hope that you entrepreneurs that listen to this episode like understand and really like plow into is understanding your audience and who your business is for and who you're serving. Understand without clarity in your business, it already come with chaos being an entrepreneur. It's only going to bring more confusion and more chaos about if you don't have clarity on what you're doing.
And it's okay for your clientele or your market to change because who you service at House of Glam might not be who you service at
the Boss Boutique
in the wig cave, right?
And the wig cave.
That's okay if they change. You didn't always want a luxury brand. I mean, you're there now. It's tea, okay? But talk about like how your market has changed from when you initially started to now, because you're talking about the pivot. But talk about how it has changed.
So when I first started out, when it was Cam the Stylist, before it was House of Glam, when it was just Cam the Stylist, I was charging like $60 for what, sew-ins?
Do you do $60 anything now?
No.
No, I mean, nothing. The world is much higher now, but you don't do the $60.
No,
nothing.
No. I decided a long time ago I didn't want to be underpaid.
Right. You can label yourself if you're that person that's always running sales and. Yeah,
speaking
now,
we're
right.
talking. You know what? I really know. I'm
trying to sell what you've already learned for $50 or whatever. Okay. You're under, and that's what you're going to always be. You're going to label yourself as that.
And so what I will say is like the difference now. My clients went from where I was charging $60 for a sew-in. Now my sew-ins start at $240 and up. My clientele. Now, granted, I have some clients that have stayed with me from my grandma porch. She's one. From my grandma porch up until now and pay like whatever I charge, and I thank God for that. But I have a lot of clients that have fallen off. So
the right one to find you.
The right, and that's a blessing. And the crazy thing about it, like even when I was cheap and I had a large clientele base with the cheap prices, I always poured and invested in myself to grow and elevate. So as I was shifting and my skill set was shifting and my clientele base was shifting, my marketing shifted. My lingo and my language when I'm communicating and speaking on social media, it shifted. I will say that the shift started with me.
It was an investment, right? Because hear what she's saying. You can't start out as a $60 hairstylist and do nothing and then tomorrow or next year want to be a $600 hairstylist. There has to be an investment that you had to put into yourself. That goes with mentorship. That goes with coaching. That goes with improving your craft. Doing all the things you need to do to market yourself to be better.
That was imperative in my shift.
Absolutely.
I could not have shifted.
You never stop growing.
Never. If I stopped investing in me, my shift would have been stopped.
It became stagnant.
I would have became stagnant.
For
So
sure.
that's very imperative to my growth as well. Like I like to say that I've always been a high demand stylist. Even now in my retirement, I'm still a high demand. And that has came with the investment that I pour into myself. Um, from classes, mentorship, assistance.
Now this girl, she doesn't stop. I mean, she thought she was gonna be a hairstylist that did your makeup too. She tried it. She really did. She wanted to be a photographer. She bought a camera. Like, don't be afraid to try things. If it ain't for you, it's not for you. That's absolutely okay. But don't be afraid to try things.
You have to be willing to try. Like,
Don't put yourself in a box.
saying that, I've taken class for lash extensions. That's
All
not for
the
me.
things.
I've taken classes for micro links. That's not for me. And that's a high paid thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you don't know what will work for you until you try it, until you invest in your knowledge and your skill set to know. And it don't matter if you do hair, makeup, cook, photography. It's so much that you can learn in your field. Like, a lot of people box themselves into a career title, especially in this entrepreneur journey. But I'm not the one that's done that. I'm multifaceted. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs. So that's another point. People be afraid to wear many hats because the world teaches us stick to one thing. No, figure out what you're good at. Capitalize on that. And how can you create streams of income from that one thing that you're good at? And a lot of people think that the one thing I'm good at is doing hair. No, that's a talent that I have. I'm good at connecting with people. So from connecting with people, I've added on different outlets to my career: life coaching, marketing strategist, instructor, speaker, getting ready to, by the time this air, the book be out. Might be more than one out by the time this air. I'm not sure when this will air, but author, like, you're good at organization. You're good at fashion. So like your outlets and revenues is bigger than.
It's limitless.
It's limitless. It's limitless, and people put limits on themselves. You said something that caught me, and I forgot.
You said something too. Talent is task driven, but your calling is glory driven. So when people get stuck in a talent and doing it for other people, but find out what your true calling is. I find you'll find a greater reward if you find what your calling is. Because there's that talent world, and people just, well, that makes people happy. I'm gonna just stay here. But you can go so much further than your talent and create more revenues, streams of income, like you were stating, when you do more than just what you're talented at. Because if you would just stay, I mean, granted, hair makes you a lot of money, but then you also took some losses with that, like losing time with your family. I mean, so like you like, hey, how can I do this hair thing and make money? Okay, I can service less people. I can provide more quality in hair, but I invested in myself to do that. Because I'm telling you, I've been with you at the grandma porch and every other salon after that, and it's a lot of them. I've seen 13 heads, no lie, you waiting, exhausted, but you was doing them. You was killing the 13 heads. And now you can do them 3 heads and make 3 times that still. So from 13 to 3 heads, because you've invested in yourself. You ain't still doing your $60 quality work. It's improved so much, all because you have invested in yourself. So you didn't let your talent just stay in that box. I love that.
And I thank God for that. Something else, speaking of being in a box, a lot of people, especially those of us that's from small towns.
Small town mindset.
We often allow our hometown to place us in a box.
Did your hometown support you the most? Which they support you.
They showed. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have that horror story. Oh, my hometown. Now I will say, a lot of my hometown, they might not come sit in my chair.
But the
I
support,
respect
say in
it,
other ways,
but
because
they still
support
me.
comes not just from sitting in the chair, right?
That's another thing.
What is it? Support. What does support look like?
Support, y'all, is not your family and friends coming to buy from you or sitting in your chair. Support can be, I'm praying for you in your business, a word spoken into your business, a seed sown into your business, a share sown into your business, a comment sold into your business, word of mouth, a referral. Like, support comes in so many ways outside of finances or just, being a customer or a client. And a lot of people take that for granted. They complain, oh, my family don't, but you can go through their lights and their family loving their stuff, And a lot of people in the entrepreneurship world, when they get into the industry or the game, they automatically expect their family and friends to support them. And unfortunately, your family and friends are not going to be your customer.
Nor are they obligated to. I mean, we would like for it to be, but they're not obligated.
They're not. And you know what else I want people to do? I want business owners to remove themselves so much from, this my company, I do, and how, I want that mindset to be removed, and I want them to start placing themselves in the customer's shoes. Put yourself in the customer's shoes and walk yourself through your customer experience. And you, as the customer, how would you feel supporting your brand, supporting your business? When you can do that, you will be able to see your brand in a different light and make necessary changes and adjustments. A lot of people say, oh, you're too nice, or, oh, I can't believe. I always treat my people how I desire to be treated as a customer. So when I am wrong in business, and we mess up more than you think, orders get delayed because we might have a wave of orders come in at one time, and we got a wave of other things going on, or with the new issues with the tariffs and stuff overseas. We had a lot of shipments stuck in customs, so it's been issues. You're going to always run into issues, but it's about handling the customer how you choose to be handled.
Absolutely.
Addressing, always taking accountability for your company. And don't personalize everything. Like, when a person is not satisfied with the service or your product, don't personalize it like the person don't like you. And I think people take their business a little too personal. I can separate the two. I have plenty of people, believe it or not, I'll never come back to you. Okay, that's fine. When I see them, I still love on them and her, because they wasn't happy. They not happy with my service. They not happy with my business or how I run my business, and that's okay.
Absolutely,
that's okay. So stop taking business personal. Stop and give your customers the experience that you desire as a customer. So that you can enhance your customer's journey, because that's important. Bad customer service, bad business will keep you stuck and stagnant. And if you do good business and you treat those customers how you want to be treated, regardless of how many mistakes you make, how many hiccups your company have, they'll definitely be back. They'll be some of your top customers. And we know from experience.
Yeah. The word is accountability. Like, entrepreneurs, you're gonna mess up, and that's okay, but we take the forefront of just being honest. Like, if we got a shipment that's gonna be delayed, or if it happens at the last minute, I'm like, okay, let me communicate that to them, because if I let them know up front, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna be okay with it. I mean, obviously they cannot be okay with it. That can come with it too, but be upfront, hold yourself accountable. A lot of times entrepreneurs try to act like, or business owners, they don't know what's going on. No, you knew that person wasn't going to get XYZ. Be upfront with them. But y'all, they go on social media and make these rants and talk about their customers, and then they want somebody to shop from you. I wouldn't dare.
I wouldn't dare either. I'll be honest with you. Now that I'm able to examine who's booking me and who's not, I check my customers the same way. Cause I'm not the person that's gonna get on social media, and I got customers that get under my wig,
Trust me.
under my skin.
Yes.
But the world will never know, because at the end of the day, they didn't have to spend their money with me.
And you can be choicy like that now. You know, you don't have to accept any person.
No,
Anybody. All money ain't good money.
If you someone who
If you a messy person on the internet, you're not sitting in her chair.
You're
She don't,
not.
She,
I don't
she
do
will
it.
not. You will be blocked from the booking site. I'm telling you, she do not like it. I don't like their energy. They can't sit in my
I've
chair.
actually had some clients I've had to ask, "Are you okay? You're not sitting in my chair with bad energy. We're gonna shake this off before you get here, or you can go to someone else."
Energy is transferable.
I'm very protective of my space, but understand, to get here, I had to go through a process.
And you check your energy too. You make sure
yeah.
you don't. Now you've had off days, bad days, as we all have.
Baby,
and will.
Listen.
But let me go cry in the car right quick. I'm gonna get right back, and I'll be right back to you.
I'll text, but like, "Are you with a client?" I had to come to my car real quick. I can't. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I go back in and shake that off. Speaking of that, whatever you going through in your personal life,
Check that at the door.
leave that at the door. Leave that at the door, okay? Because your customers have things going on, and they're spending their money with your business. So you need to be considerate and put yourself last. In entrepreneurship, you have to be selfless. You cannot be selfish.
And if you can't show up your best self, that is okay too. Take a day off. And I know some of us don't have that luxury or the pleasure to take. But if you don't, it will catch up. Let's talk about how you used to overwork yourself and flare up. And if you don't sit yourself down, who will? Your body.
Okay.
It ain't worth it.
Listen, some people couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Overworking, stressed out, trying to please everybody, trying to be for everybody, and was not taking myself into consideration. Y'all, I fell out at the salon, and I was rushed to the urgent care. The urgent care called 911 to come take me to the hospital. Y'all, was in my 20s.
Overworking, underpaid is not the way.
Overworking and underpaid is not it, y'all. Nobody could ever pay me to go back to that chapter again in my life. They couldn't figure out if I had cancer. They couldn't figure out if I had lupus, rheumatoid arthritis. It was so much going on. Blood pressure high. I'm at work with heart monitors on because they was trying to figure out. And I was in the back of the ambulance, and that man said, "You too young." He said, "Stress will kill you before anything else." He said, "It's a silent killer." He said, "Take care of yourself." And when I tell y'all, that's me now. I still love doing hair, don't get me wrong, but I'm not overworking. Oh, no. Now, can't do it.
No, we ain't going backwards.
Can't do
We are
it.
growing forward. We are not going backwards.
I have a question.
Sure.
What is something that you seen we have grown past, like how we used to move versus how we move now?
Our communication style, I mean, I think it's always been effective, but just being like we attack things before they happen, but I think that obviously comes with time and with growth, right? Some things just obviously come with longevity. We got skin in the game, but we're just able to. I mean, we've grown as people too. Let me just say there. I mean, I think we're definitely we're people that grew up in the church. We've always had that background, but as we've entered our 30s, because we were in our 20s, and now we entered our 30s together. But as we've entered our 30s, and what the old people say, just keep living.
Keep
So
living.
we've learned so much growing, and really God has always been our foundation, but it's just a little different when you're doing it for yourself. So I think who we are grounded so much and rooted in God has just changed the way we've moved. Our communication has grown over time. I think it has always been great since we've became one in business, but we've evolved in our communication style with our clients. We have just We've evolved with the times because things are not the same. We went through COVID. We had to pivot there. We thought we were just gonna be online only. We was in there with masks on and doing slayathons 24 hours. But we still we that's something nobody wasn't doing that. Who was doing 24-hour slayathons?
Atlanta somewhere, maybe.
Florida? I don't know. Yeah, I mean we were trendsetters.
I love that for us.
Yeah, we've just attacked things before they can happen. We be on it.
And another thing that I really appreciate about our journey, like you said, we haven't been afraid to do things. Like when God show you something or me something, we literally ask for guidance how to bring it to life, and we communicate and we put it out there. We don't allow. We don't give business time to get stuck or stagnant.
Oh no. I want to say we evolve and we'll be ahead of the game in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. And that's important. But listen, on this journey, like we said earlier, it's spiritual. It's spiritual. It's a spiritual journey. I don't care how glamorous social media make it look. It comes with a lot of cons. That's not disgusted. I mean, disgust.
Disgust.
I mean,
it can be disgusting.
But
Yes.
but it's not disgust. But it can be disgusting. You have any advice you want to give entrepreneur?
Sure. So, for the baby entrepreneur, the new entrepreneur like myself, trust what's been given to you. And I'm talking to myself as well, okay? Trust what has been given to you. Stay the path. Know that where God provides vision, He will give provision. Talking to myself. Thank you. I hear you, Holy Spirit. But just trust what has been given to you. I promise you, just like you said, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that the Lord has for me, okay? He's not going to harm you. They're going to prosper you. So trust what you have. Stand on what it is that you know and that you're supposed to be doing. Utilize your resources. Study your craft. Perfect your craft. And come to us if you need coaching and mentorship. Duh.
We're here.
We're definitely here. And then to the entrepreneur that has a little bit of skin in the game, because I can speak to that as well, and she can speak to it even more. Don't become stagnant. Don't become complacent. Know when it's time to change and elevate, because their signs will be there, whether you're drained, overwhelmed, feeling a lack from somewhere. Those are your signs. And there's nothing wrong with being success driven, but we're talking about, well, we're moving out of a place of being success driven and we're now being significance. That's what's more important to us than the success. And that's okay, because the money will come. It will always. I love to speak. Money will always find me. There's never no lack. And speak positivity and manifestation is a real thing. And I'll keep going and going. But what you got for the people?
No, that's real what you said. How you speak to yourself and how you speak about your business is important. Don't say I'm in a slow season. No, you're not. When business isn't moving as fast as you would like, that's the season that's your rest season. That's the season when God is allowing you to invest the time to invest in your business, whether it's restructuring your communication style, whether it's restructuring your marketing strategies, whether it's taking a class and practicing new techniques. Every season is a part of the process. Don't ever label it as slow. It's your rest season. And utilize your rest season. Don't just sit on the couch and complain and scroll social media complaining about business being slow. Ask God, what is it that you need to be doing in this season, and watch just how things just start coming before you. Another advice I would give, be mindful of who you share your dreams and your vision with. Even though you're in business, when you get ready to pivot and add new things, be mindful of who you sharing it with. Be mindful of who you're taking advice from. You don't want to take constructive criticism from nobody that ain't never constructed nothing. How they gonna tell you something? You know what I'm saying? So be mindful of where you're taking your advice from. Be mindful of how you speak over yourself and over your business. You're never tired. You need rest. Because what you tell yourself, it's what manifests in the mind, and what manifests in the mind is what you manifest in reality.
Your thoughts become real, for sure.
And feed your spirit and your brain daily. We both are readers. She reads probably 100 books a year. I've said this in another episode, but she reads all the time. We're readers, so we're constantly pouring into ourselves.
Look, that's just funny because this morning before church, D said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm reading." I'm just a reader, y'all. I love reading. I gotta feed this mind, okay?
And that's so important. And another thing, a lot of people say, "Oh, that's just social media." I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but social media is very significant, more than what you think. You don't just follow accounts. Like, what you scroll past and allowing your mind, whatever you allow your eyes to see, you're allowing that into your inner space. So be mindful of the accounts that you follow. Be mindful of the people that you're interacting with on social media. Y'all, I have a ratchet time in real life. In real life, I have a great time. But I don't expose that side of me on social media because I have a business to run, and your business is a reflection of you. Everybody don't need to know every part of you, especially when you're running a business. It don't need to be seen. I'm not telling you to be fake. I'm not telling you to be phony. I'm not telling you to be any of that, but I am telling you to be mindful of what you interact with on social media.
Absolutely.
Be mindful of what you put out there. You would never go to the job, Wells Fargo, and show them that, you turn up on the weekends. Like, you're not going to bring that to your job. You need to have the same mindset as you would if you was representing Wells Fargo or corporate world, the same mindset with your business. So,
look, it ain't so forgiving because, people that posted things back in 2013 is like haunting them now. Like, it lives forever. So.
Okay. Or even did in 2013. A lot of that is resurfacing. So you be mindful because you are going to grow. You're going to grow. Be mindful. Be mindful. Be mindful. Be mindful. Because as she said, she's not booking someone you can be the most talented person. But if I see you full of drama, I'm not doing business with you. Because I'm the type, I utilize my platforms to promote.
You don't care how big
the
the
next
dollar
business.
sign is.
No, I don't care.
We're not moved by that.
We're not moved by money. We're not moved at how many followers a person have. If you are a person that engage in drama and negative stuff, I'm not doing business with you. So be mindful of that. And there are a lot of people that are like us that make those decisions. Your social media is your resume. It's your portfolio. So be mindful of the energy you're putting out. Be mindful of the people you're hanging with. Your circle is important.
Yes, I guess I'm an entrepreneur now because I've been hanging around one.
Yeah.
you are who you become. You are who you become.
You know what
That's a real thing.
God literally will put you in the environments in which he's trying to take you to.
He gave me a 7-year head start.
That's completion. Tad. That is completion.
He gave me a 7-year head start.
And you've been fighting this for a long time.
Long time.
I don't want to be no entrepreneur. Everybody been telling her
I was
she's
gonna work my
called
9
to
to
do
5
that.
and retire with my 401k sitting pretty, okay?
And what God said?
No. God took me and beat me over here with a Bible. I kid y'all not. Another story for another day, but I kid y'all not.
So what you saying is you rather just be obedient than God force you to be.
Obedience is better than sacrifice. I surrender. What I say, I gave him my yes. Your experience shifts. And boy, we are shifting. But
That's
I'm excited.
beautiful.
But yeah.
I'm excited for you. Thank y'all so much for tuning in on this. We hope that you were able to take some jewels, some gems, and apply it to your business and understand the crazy stuff that you're experiencing in your business or on your journey. You're not alone. It get better with time. Stay the course. Go through the process and understand that diamonds are made in the process. Success is built in the process, not the end result. Don't measure your results and your journey based on someone else's, because we all are in different places in our journey, okay? We love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. See y'all next time.